many Spring Bonnie suits actually existed? The first Spring Bonnie was simple, golden, friendly, and made to perform at Fredbear's. Then came a second version, a true spring lock suit, redesigned and often worn by William Afton himself. There was also a bulky prototype with no spring locks at all, built as an early test. And later, a slimmer backup spring lock suit used when the main one was out of order. Over time, these suits started to decay. One became withered after years in storage, damaged, dirty, and unstable. And finally, one suit became something far worse. It turned into Springtrap, a rotting animatronic fused with its wearer. How many Spring Bonnie suits?
Oh no, Pony's in position!
I was about to rearrange your skull, brother, but I hesitated.
What happened to you, Randy? You were the Viper, the Legend Killer.
RKO!
How do you feel about the competition you're going to face, which includes Cody Rhodes?
You and Cody Rhodes, I mean, you know that there's only one road left for you to take.
Where is that man?
Tomorrow we will not be friends, we will not be brothers. There is nothing more dangerous than a Viper chasing number 15. Do I really hate doing it? No, I don't. I'm going to WrestleMania.
Oh no, Pony's in position!
I'm really sorry, but I'm about to ruin your childhood. If you play this sound at 3 times speed and it sounds very wrong, it means you have a dirty mind.
George has seen some really big, juicy blackberries.
I'm really sorry.
Kablam. 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 Kablam.
I draw my subscribers' profile pictures, just like...
It's fresh because it just happened.
This falling down filter looks so cool. I need to try this. You can try it too. Click that sound, hit that little sparkle, go to backgrounds. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but then do the clone drop. See what it looks like. It's pretty cool. This falling down...
Hey, if you're watching this, could you maybe subscribe? It'll really help me out. If not, it's okay. Hope you have a great...
Why is it Monday?
Hey Siri, I just lost my job.
Who's the most aggressive toy in every Poppy Playtime chapter? In Chapter 1, since Huggy is the only toy we actually see, he's the most aggressive. Since the moment we restore power, he disappears from the showroom, stalks us through the factory, and then suddenly bursts out for a full chase through the vents, trying to catch and kill us before we can escape. But in Chapter 2, Mommy Longlegs is clearly more aggressive, since she doesn't just attack us herself, she takes over the entire game station, threatening to tear us apart, forcing us through mini-games, and controlling other toys like Bunzo and the Mini Huggies, sending them after us the second we stop following her rules. Then in Chapter 3, while you might think it's Catnap due to his red smoke, it's actually Miss Delight. Because unlike Catnap, who mostly stalks us from a distance, Miss Delight directly hunts us through the school. Subscribe for Part 2. Who's the most aggressive toy?
Welcome to McDonald's, what you order, bro? Can I get an Oreo?
Who's the most aggressive? Why didn't Mommy Longlegs just pull the lever when she got trapped in the grinder? In Chapter 2, when Mommy Longlegs chases us into the game station, she ends up getting her arm caught in the grinder right next to the emergency lever. And the entire time she's being pulled in, she's desperately trying to reach us, instead of saving herself. Most people think she just didn't notice it due to being too panicked, or that she wasn't actually able to reach the lever. But considering how far her body can stretch, this can't actually be the real reason. So why didn't she just pull the lever? Well, the real answer is actually... Who's the most aggressive toy?
Remember growing
How do all of the toys get killed in Poppy Playtime? In Chapter 1, Huggy Wuggy presumably dies after chasing you through the vents, where you pull a crate onto the catwalk, snapping the walkway and sending him crashing down through the factory pipes. But in Chapter 2, Bunzo Bunny is killed off-screen by Mommy Longlegs after musical memory, with crashing and cymbals heard before his body is later found hanging motionless in her webs. While the mini Huggies are also killed by Mommy after Whack-A-Wuggy, and Mommy herself dies when her arm gets caught in the grinder and her body is slowly pulled in and crushed apart. Then in Chapter 3, Miss Delight dies when you slam a metal gate onto her head as she chases you. Dog Day is finished off when the mini smiling critters swarm into his mutilated body and kill him before using it to attack you. And Catnap is electrocuted by the overcharged green hands, set on fire by his own gas, and then killed by the prototype. Subscribe for part 2. How do the toys kill you in every Poppy Playtime chapter? In Chapter 1, Huggy Wuggy squeezes you to death, since the chapter is literally called a tight squeeze, and if he catches you in those vents, his arms lock around your body and crush you. Then in Chapter 2, Mommy Longlegs catches you with her bare hands and feeds you into the factory grinder the same way she dies if we manage to escape her. But Chapter 3 is where it gets disturbing. Catnap has a gas device built into his own throat that pumps red smoke into the air, and if he finds you, he traps you in endless nightmares until you slowly die in your sleep. Chapter 4, Doughy shoots Play-Doh tentacles out of his mouth that latch onto you and drag you in, slowly tearing you apart before being eaten alive. And finally, in Chapter 5, Lily Lovebraids drops from the ceiling and strangles you to death with her braids. How did the toys... Why can't Huggy Wuggy speak in Poppy Playtime? As you progress in every chapter, almost every toy is able to speak to you. Poppy speaks, Mommy Longlegs speaks, even Catnap communicates through a broken, raspy device. But Huggy Wuggy, one of Playtime's Co.'s most successful toys, only growls and screams. But this makes no sense, since Huggy went through the exact same Bigger Bodies initiative as the others. Most people think it's just because he was one of Playtime's Co.'s first experiments, but this isn't true, since even the prototype was built before Huggy and he can still speak. But then what's the real reason behind it? Well, there's actually evidence proving Huggy Wuggy used to be able to talk. In a corrupted audio clip, it shows Huggy saying, "I'll squeeze you until you..." But if Huggy Wuggy used to be able to talk, what happened to him? Well, we actually find our answer in Poppy's own maintenance tape, where we see a bloody voice box being physically pulled from her back, showing Playtime Company was removing voices on purpose, and they likely removed Huggy's as punishment after he escaped in 1992. Why can't Huggy Wuggy speak in Poppy Playtime? Why didn't Huggy Wuggy attack us when we first entered the factory in Chapter 1? When we first walk into Playtime Company, Huggy Wuggy is standing right in the middle of the room, completely still, watching. He's the biggest creature in the building, and he just lets us walk past. But this makes no sense.
Have you ever heard of one?
What happened to the Longlegs family in Poppy Playtime? In Chapter 2, Playtime Company advertises the whole Longlegs family, Mommy, Daddy, and Baby on posters across the factory. But by the time we're done, Mommy has been dragged through a grinder, and Daddy and Baby are nowhere to be found. So what actually happened to each of them? Well, which toy has the worst death in every Poppy Playtime chapter? In Chapter 1, while no toys actually die, Huggy Wuggy supposedly has the worst death, where after chasing you through the vents, he gets caught by a falling crate and drops deep into the factory, smashing through pipes and disappearing. But in Chapter 2, Mommy Longlegs clearly has the worst death. After musical statues, she starts chasing you through the factory, forcing you into a room with an industrial grinder where her arm gets caught, and once activated, she's slowly pulled in while still trying to reach you, being crushed apart piece by piece. Then in Chapter 3, while many people argue that Catnap had the worst death, the most painful is actually Dog Days, since when you first find him, he's already mutilated and chained up after defying the prototype, until he's suddenly eaten alive by the mini smiling critters, who even take over his dead body to attack you. Subscribe for part 2. How does Huggy Wuggy attack us in every Poppy Playtime chapter? In Chapter 1, Huggy starts as a statue but soon disappears, stalking you through the factory until he finally reveals himself and chases you through the vents, where he tries to catch and kill you before falling. But why does Miss Delight stop moving when we look at her? In Chapter 3, Miss Delight stalks us through the corridors and classrooms of Playcare's school. But of all the experiments that hunt us across the factory, Miss Delight is the only one that completely freezes the moment we make eye contact. Most people think she was just designed this way by Playtime Co. as a simple toy mechanic, but this makes no sense, since she was originally designed to be a teacher and not a security guard like Huggy. Until you realize that in Chapter 3, in the school area, you'll find a piece of paper called Note 3. 3, explaining that during the hour of joy, Catnap actually locked all of the teachers in the school and that they had to eat each other to stay alive. Then in another classroom, you find a final note from Miss Delight herself, saying, "I found that if I stand still, completely still, everyone thinks I'm dead," proving it was to help her stay alive. But really, why does Miss Delight? How does each chapter of Poppy Playtime end? In Chapter 1, Huggy Wuggy chases us. Who is the strongest toy in every Poppy Playtime chapter? In Chapter 1, Huggy Wuggy is clearly the strongest, overpowering the player with speed, size, and raw aggression as he chases you through the factory and survives. Who's the
Why does Mike Bloomberg support Michael Asher? He helped pass our gun safety law. Governor Hochul, he stood up for abortion rights. Congressman Nadler, Lasher's keeping ICE out. That's why so many people we trust are endorsing Michael Asher.
Got a song stuck in your head? Download the Google app to figure out what it is. Tap.
Jey Uso is now in your toy aisle.
The ambulance is parked.
Earth-shattering.
Medical attention might be needed after that move, and luckily there's an ambulance nearby.
Decides to leave the confines of the ring. Clearing up our announce desk. Things are about to turn disastrous. Clearing off the announce table. This can't be good.
Nothing but bad intentions in mind, I'm sure.
Clothesline, and what's he planning to do now? Measuring his man. Oh, counter on the ropes. There's nothing. On the fly. Top rope. Just a counter.
Come on, guys. What are we doing here? We gotta end it.
Today, I'm rebuilding the bloodline, and it all starts with this wheel. I get to keep one original member, and that will be Jey Uso. This will be a 6-man Royal Rumble, and whoever is at the end with Jey will join the faction. All right, who's number 2? Come on, we got to pick and choose here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Number 6.